Tonight on Northwestern News Network, a protest on campus. Jeff Sessions' visit is causing controversy. I'll be here live with the latest.
Plus, how NU's Campus and Safety Department wants to prepare students in case of active violence on campus.
And how a new ASG initiative wants to make the NU dining experience less stressful.
I'm Rupa Pala.
And I'm Megan Leibowitz.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Former Attorney General Jeff Sessions is speaking at Northwestern tonight at an event hosted by NU College Republicans. A protest is being planned in response, and according to the Facebook event, over 500 people are going or interested in joining the ranks. For more, we go live to our political director, Olivia Olander. Olivia?
Hi, Megan. Yes, there is a protest going on behind me, as I think you can hear and see. These protesters say that they're not necessarily protesting Jeff Sessions speaking, but they are here protesting just his values and what he stands for. They're currently right outside the building as other people are entering, so we'll see how that goes for the rest of the night.
Thanks, Olivia. And continuing our coverage of this speaker event, we hear from College Republicans Vice President Dominic Baer, who tells NNN why Jeff Sessions was the fall speaker pick.
We're really excited to bring Jeff Sessions, so we really had in mind that we wanted to bring someone who had plenty of experience in the federal government, both in Congress and the executive branch, and someone who is a rock-ribbed conservative, and I think Jeff Sessions meets all those checklists.
But NUCR's excitement isn't necessarily matched by all students on campus. Two student activists took to Facebook to plan a night of action in response to Sessions' visit. As opposed to stopping Sessions from speaking on campus, the event is focused on increasing youth civic engagement by disseminating voter registration information.
Trying to channel all this energy that is negative towards Mr. Sessions and trying to turn it into positive action, I think I really admire that.
We are heading into the last few weeks of the quarter, so NNN's Chloe Cope checks in with the Associated Student Government to find out how ASG has been legislating for you.
From free speech controversies to changing the wellness nature on campus, what has ASG been up to this quarter?
We had a lot of hopes both internally and externally.
ASG saw its most competitive Senate elections in a decade, and the new officials had a few main goals going into this year, including improving student wellness, creating spaces for low-income and first-generation students, and advocating for genderqueer, non-binary, and trans students.
It's always hard to kind of anticipate ASG work in a lot of ways because we try to be as reactive as we can.
So far this quarter, ASG has ensured all work-study students who lost their Safe Ride jobs to VIA were placed in other positions, reversed a change in the Northwestern Insurance Plan, and most recently, passed a resolution advocating for genderqueer non-binary students so that they are able to communicate their preferred pronouns.
You have to have your legal name on your wild card, and that's a visual representation of yourself. So when you're going to the dining halls or residential services and things like that, you're immediately outed.
And last week, ASG voted on emergency legislation to frame their response to the university painting over the John Evans Rock.
Resolution tonight is one of those kind of more unique. I would say it only happens once or twice a quarter that something will fire people up quite to this extent.
The senators voted in favor of a resolution emphasizing advocacy for specific student groups affected by the incident. Although these debates are contentious, these discussions are important.
A lot of the times whenever people think about ASG, they think that some of the action we take isn't effective. I know that that's how a lot of people perceive us, but it does matter.
A fall full of legislation, but ASG says the work is never done. Chloe Cope, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Chloe. Over 100 Northwestern University and Cutter students and alumni participated in a silent protest this Sunday demanding policy change and an apology. The protest was in response to a tweet by NUQ professor Justin Martin. He alleged that NUQ's Dean Everett Dennis said, quote, "to hell with them," after Muslim students expressed frustrations that graduation was set during Ramadan fasting hours.
2 years ago, a gun violence scare had the Northwestern community on edge. Now the university is offering prevention training in hopes of preparing NU students and faculty for how to handle an active shooter. NNN's Joey Safchik has more.
210 and 220 response. If there's active violence on campus, would you know what to do?
Freshman year, where there was like fear that there was an active shooter on campus, it felt like we didn't really know what to do.
The NU Department of Safety and Security wants to change that.
We started what's called a Safe Campus program for students, faculty, and staff to present them information on how we can prepare them in the event that they're involved in a mass or active violence incident.
With school shootings on the rise,
It's something I kind of always think about.
between April 2007 and April 2018, 320 people were shot on college campuses, according to a Collegiate Times analysis.
We have to be prepared for that. Obviously, you can't be prepared for the fear that comes with it, but anything that could potentially help you if something like that were to happen is worth it.
This year, incoming students had to watch this video. Some found it scary, but others say
It's almost irresponsible not to have something like this.
there's also an online training module available to the public.
Obviously, if we can prevent one of these incidents from occurring in the first place, that's the goal.
And once you finish the training and watch the video, think about how you might apply what you've learned to the real world.
I'm always looking over my shoulder. Every time I go into a room, I look at the ways out.
Students wonder what more can be done.
But yeah, the only thing to address this so far has been that video, and depending on how much you paid attention to it can determine a lot for how prepared you are.
Preparing every day for a day we hope will never come. Joey Safchik, Northwestern News Network.
NUPD does train with the Evanston Police Department and takes part in an active shooter drill at least once a year.
Chicago police say murder and shootings in October 2019 were down significantly compared to October 2018. Police data shows that compared to the same month last year, there was a 20% decline in murders and a 6.2% decrease in the number of shootings. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said the data was encouraging, but said, quote, "The police will never allow ourselves to become complacent in combating violence throughout our city."
The Chicago teacher strike ended last Thursday after more than 2 weeks. The strike was the longest walkout since 1987. The new contract includes money to enforce class size limits, more nurses and social workers, and new contracts for support staff. The district will make up 5 of the 11 missed school days.
While Chicago public school teachers took to the picket lines, CPS seniors didn't have anyone to consult on their college essays. Andrew Rowan introduces us to a few Northwestern students who wanted to help.
It wasn't clear when the teacher strike would end, but CPS seniors had a deadline they had to meet: early decision college applications.
It was definitely very stressful because we couldn't reach out to our counselors, obviously, to grab our information.
To help seniors like Kelly Shao meet the November 1st deadline, 3 Northwestern students sprung into action.
We didn't know how long this was going to go on, and I think students were getting desperate.
They created a Google form for CPS seniors to submit their essays.
And then it was a really simple process to explain step by step, saying oh, these alumni can help you edit your essays.
Few CPS alums are currently offering to review college essays for CPS seniors. The post has been shared more than 1,000 times.
We were expecting maybe a few dozen because we expected the 3 of us could handle most of it.
WIN estimates that in 6 days, more than 500 essays were reviewed by more than 200 active editors from around the country.
There's no way that we could have done all 500 between just us.
The creators say they noticed that most students who used the form were from Chicago's selective enrollment high schools. And going forward, they want to make sure they get the word out to students in all high schools all across the city.
This one editor will fix my essay, suggested new things, whereas oh, you have to make this more personal.
Andrew Rowan, Northwestern News Network.
There are plans to reopen the form by this weekend for the November 15th, December 1st, and December 15th deadlines.
Coming up, NNN's Jack Leto has the latest on Wildcat sports.
And a new ASG initiative is working to make the meal plan exemption process easier.
It was a white hollow weekend, and if you don't like ice falling from the sky, sorry, there's more coming. I'll have your 5-day forecast coming up right after the break.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern. Go Northwestern, break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Last week, Evanston saw its first snowfall of the year.
NNN's Raina Song went out to see what students thought about the snowy weather in this week's edition of Rock Talk.
Hi, I'm Raina Song, asking students about their reactions to the first snow in Evanston. Let's see what they have to say.
Rock Talk.
So how do you like the snow on Thursday?
Well, I'm from Minnesota, so very used to the snow. It was kind of nice to wake up and look out the window and see all that white. It was kind of like homecoming in a way.
I thought it was great. It was my first real snowfall.
It was like a nice sight to see, and like I'm from California, so like I'm not used to it.
I thought it was fun. I was not expecting a white Halloween, but we got a white Halloween, so that was surprising.
It was my first time seeing falling snow in my whole life, so I thought it was really fun, and I layered so I didn't suffer.
Kind of like snow on Halloween seemed kind of weird, but I was into it. It was cool to take pictures and then show people back home like, oh my gosh, it's snowing here. And
I was caught off guard, but I thought it was really pretty. It just made Halloween a little more difficult than I expected.
I had to ride my bike and it was not fun. Like I was literally covered in snow.
Pretty awful, honestly. Not really the kind of way I wanted my Halloween to be, but it's Chicago.
I really didn't like it because it's October and it's snowing.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good sign, and it's only the beginning of the end.
Rock Talk.
If you have an idea for a future Rock Talk topic, tweet us at NNN_news.
Here to tell us if students should prepare for more snowy weather is Jenny Ha with this week's 5-day weather forecast.
It was the snowiest Halloween on record for some areas in Illinois, and we're expecting even more snow this week. With temperatures ranging from the mid-20s to 50 degrees, you'll probably need your winter coats handy. There's a slight chance of showers tonight after 7 p.m. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy, with a high of 48 and a low of 28 degrees. Thursday will be mostly sunny, with a high of 35. Then it'll be partly cloudy at night. There's a slight chance of snow showers in the morning, and that snow will eventually mix with rain around 11 a.m. Friday will be very similar, but the weekend will have temperatures reaching up to 44 degrees, and we'll have more rain and snow Saturday night. Sunday also has a chance of rain. So be sure to carry your umbrellas around, cozy up in some fuzzy blankets, drink some hot fruit tea, and do whatever else will keep you warm. Good luck with both the chilling midterms and weather. I'm Jenny Ha, and this was your 5-day weather forecast. Back to you on the desk.
Thanks, Jenny. A new Phase 2 clinical trial is using technology from Northwestern Medicine, and it may eventually pave the way to reverse celiac disease. The technology is a nanoparticle containing gluten. It acts in a way that teaches the body's immune system that the allergen is safe. Developed in the lab of a Feinberg School of Medicine professor Stephen Miller, the technology could be used to treat other diseases such as multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, peanut allergies, and more.
The Open Access Dining Plan gives students living on campus housing unlimited meal swipes, but open access to the dining halls can be financially draining for students, especially for students with dietary restrictions.
The open access dining plan gives students living in campus housing unlimited meal swipes. But open access to the cereal bar can be financially draining for students, especially for students with dietary restrictions.
I can avoid this completely. Like, I can avoid anxiety, I can avoid stress, I can avoid potentially feeling sick, and the answer to doing that is not coming to the dining hall and cooking for myself.
Zoe Mallon has food sensitivities to gluten and dairy. She says getting off the mandatory dining plan took her nearly a year.
That required me to fill out paperwork, and my doctor had to fill out paperwork. I did have to, I feel, jump through like a lot of hoops to get off the meal plan completely.
This year, ASG's Campus Life Committee wants to make this process easier for students with food sensitivities or financial concerns.
I fully support ASG's initiative. I think it's definitely necessary. I know a lot of people who maybe don't want to be on the meal plan because it is a challenge for them financially. I do know people who don't want to be on the meal plan because they have an allergy or they have celiac disease like me or something like that. So I think that there's a long list of reasons why this needs to be an initiative, and I'm glad that ASG is taking it on.
Though the initiative is just beginning, students with food sensitivities can hope for an easier path to exemption in the future. Ashley Ravid, Northwestern News Network.
We'll keep you updated on the ASG initiative as it continues to move forward.
Fall sports are in full swing, and there are some mixed emotions for Wildcat fans. I'm Jack Lito, and I'll give you an update on all the big wins and gut-wrenching losses next.
After the break, how NU researchers are working to throw away the plastic waste problem and move toward a greener future.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Northwestern football is still trying to turn this season around, but they couldn't get it done against Indiana. For an update on Wildcat sports, here's NNN's Jack Lito.
Thanks, Rupa. Bloomington did not treat the Cats very well. Northwestern's losing streak stretches to 6 in a row. The offense continues to sputter after a 3-point day. Northwestern's scoring offense is dead last in the nation. The Wildcats have not scored a touchdown in 13 quarters, or in other terms, 1 month. The schedule does get a little easier for the Cats as they host Purdue Saturday at Ryan Field. Next, let's go around the Wildcats scoreboard. We'll start on the pitch with men's soccer. Tim Lenahan's team finished off their season with a big win on senior night against out-of-conference foe Marion. The Wildcats conclude an 8-7-1 regular season. They will take on Maryland on Sunday in the Big Ten tournament in Evanston. The Cats have already notched a win on the road against the defending champs. In field hockey, the Wildcats rolled over Indiana on Senior Day. The final was 6-0, which means the Wildcats finished the season with 6 shutouts. That's good for 3rd in the Big Ten. Benta Bacher scored her 23rd and 24th goal of the year. That ties her for 4th all-time for a Northwestern player in a single season. The Cats are the 3 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and they match up with 6 seed Rutgers on Friday. Finally, in women's soccer, the Cats did not qualify for the Big Ten tournament, but they did pick up 2 All-Big Ten selections. Reagan Steigletter and Julietta Thron were both named to the All-Big Ten third team. Rupa, Megan, that is all I have for you today, but Sports Night is back on Thursday for more coverage, including men's and women's hoops, which are officially back this weekend. So be sure to tune in then. For now, it's back to you two on the desk.
Thanks, Jack. Plastic is everywhere, and oftentimes used is one and done. But once you've left your plastic behind, it isn't going anywhere. So I went to talk to an NU researcher who is looking to use plastic waste as a resource.
From bags for food to lids for drinks,
I carry around a reusable water bottle,
notebooks to backpacks, plastic is everywhere.
I definitely don't think about it as much as I should.
380 million tons of plastic are created every year. And researchers say less than 25% is used more than once.
A lot of that stuff goes into landfills and it can end up hurting animals.
Although NU students have their own ways of being sustainable.
Bringing a water bottle.
I try not to use Ziploc plastic baggies.
Plastic isn't going anywhere.
While they're very strong, clean, and safe, they also happen to be single-use.
Plastic won't degrade if it's left outside or in the environment. That's why some researchers are pushing beyond the boundaries of recycling in hopes of creating a more sustainable future.
It's going to start looking at plastic waste as a resource in its own right.
Plastic's chemical composition makes it especially hard to get rid of, which can take a toll on the environment.
It's going to be on our planet for hundreds of thousands of years.
But researchers are using plastic's strong carbon-carbon bonds to their advantage, turning plastic waste into high-value materials.
Lubricants, motor oil, detergent.
Going beyond recycling that can turn plastic into new, but lower-value material.
We are taking something that is almost worthless, plastic waste, and trying to turn it into materials that have a lot of value.
Working toward tossing out the single-use plastic problem and creating a greener world.
It is, I think, one of the most thrilling things in my life to be working on this project that is trying to tackle one of the hardest problems we're facing today.
Northwestern researchers are working in collaboration with Argonne National Lab and Ames Lab.
After the break, how 3 NU students are changing the way extra study abroad money is used.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
For this week's Newsmakers, we introduce you to 3 NU students making change literally. NNN's Lami Zhang tells us how these students can help you get a run for your money.
When travelers return from a trip abroad, they often find themselves with pockets of foreign change.
It's not like enough of an amount for you to go to a currency exchange to convert it.
To address this problem, Northwestern students run Community Currency, a nonprofit that converts unused foreign currency to fund summer programs for underprivileged kids.
That this is something that already exists, and why aren't we like making use of this and just like letting these coins sit in people's drawers when we could just be like collecting them?
Each year, the total discarded foreign currency in the US amounts to $1.56 billion, with 96 million passing through the city of Chicago alone. This year, 3 undergrads are putting in their 2 cents and running the project.
We want to provide like receptacles at airports for people to donate that money so that we can redirect it and sort of like reuse it for to fund local things.
Right now, Community Currency is working on placing donation stands at the O'Hare International Airport.
Getting at O'Hare, public relations at O'Hare, even just like specifically community development opportunities in O'Hare. So there's different officials that are in charge of things that are very much related to the initiatives that we are pushing for.
The donations collected will help fund an 8-week summer program at the Chicago Boys and Girls Club.
It's like a really supportive environment with a lot of different resources and so many like amazing staff.
Initiating change, one trip at a time. Lami Zhang, Northwestern News Network.
Community Currency has worked with Northwestern's Global Learning Office to collect donations from students returning from study abroad. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Rupa Pala.
And I'm Megan Leibowitz. For all of us here at NNN, good night and thanks for watching.